Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
Sunny. After all this wind and chill, it's very sunny.
Hmm, that's a very good announcing voice you did there. But
Thank you.
thanks for willing to do this, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Thank you.
Always. You know, I've been wanting to say this to you, but I've been getting to know you very well since Minnie Mouse throughout the Disney projects. And since
Mm-hmm.
that, I've been searching up about who you are and that you Minnie Mouse isn't the only character. You also get to be part of anime and other projects that is yet to come. And I am
Yes.
impressed that you
Thank you.
always. Because, hey, searching up voice actors is what I often do all the time. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
one myself,
Wonderful.
of course.
And you're
But,
based on the East Coast, correct?
yes, you are
Gotcha.
correct.
Gotcha.
Hmm, yeah, and sorry for the d delays and stuff. It's
It's all
just
right.
sometimes time is just something else there.
True.
But, yeah. Anyway, well, I've got many questions I wanted to ask you.
Certainly.
Tell me, how is it like being a voice actor in many animated shows?
It's very challenging for me because I had never done anime prior to Aggretsuko. And I certainly watched a lot since since the 90s. So that dates me right there. But anime is ever changing, ever flowing because there's so many genres, there's so many styles and attitudes, and they all require different ways of acting. It's not like one stagnant choice of acting, but it is a unique type of acting compared to Western animation or cinematic animation or video games. So I watched a lot, but I didn't really understand how it worked. So I'm actively trying to learn more about anime and how to work in that world, even as I do the job. So it takes time, but I'm hoping for certain classes to open up or workshops where you can do it in person. I always feel I learn better that way. And then I could do more with anime from that. But it's been really fun kind of learning it through practice and through jobs itself.
I see. So that's what I like about you being part of it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what you said earlier. Kind of reminds me of what I've been through.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I never knew what anime was back then. When the only anime that I know of before I discovered it was Pokemon through Dragon Ball Z and
Mm-hmm.
Naruto. I never knew they were anime, but by 2016 is where I discovered One Punch Man. It is the show that helped me understand what anime is, and that's when I discovered the voice actors, and turns out I discovered you and everybody else. And that's what led to my desire of working with everyone in the industry, which is
Mm-hmm.
why, which is why, like you, I took the classes that I'm trying to take in order to understand the concept of what it means to be part of these stuff.
Yes. And it takes time. I take classes consistently, even now, with how much I work and how well known I might be. But you're always learning, you're always growing. And so I've taken classes and workshops more than once to really understand what I've been taught. Because sometimes it takes me a couple tries to understand the message that's being delivered because I need to learn how to retain it. I need to understand it. So I'm a little bit of a slow learner in that way to snag on to it. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, the more instinctual it gets. So don't feel discouraged if you run into any walls like that. Just keep on moving forward. And anime has been around in English language for a very long time. Back when I was growing up, they imported anime shows with American dub casts, and not just from Japan, from other countries as well. Because I grew up with Maya the Bee, the Noozles, David the Gnome, and these were all animated shows from other countries that they dubbed. And then we had a more of the teenage focus with Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Ranma, Cowboy Bebop. So they all kind of came over And then it starts begetting more and more anime shows and dubs, fan subs. So it's been around for some time.
I see. But that leads me to the most important question, but how did you get into voice acting, and what was the best decision that led you into this career? For what purpose?
My story is so weird. Getting into voiceover was the most random way possible, and I sincerely doubt it'll happen to anyone else. There is a guideline for it, and I'll get to that. But for me specifically, I got into voiceover because I won a contest at San Diego Comic Con. I was studying voiceover. I was learning how the ropes were. I was very new, still a baby, still learning. So this was very lucky. But around 2009 at the Comic Con, they were having a panel about the Drawn Together movie, which was like kind of the closer of the Drawn Together TV show. And we went to a panel, and there was a contest, and the winner would get to do a voice in the movie. So I had a like I was able to become one of the contestants because a friend drew attention to our area of the room because they were just picking two guys up to that point, like pick a girl. And Jess Harnell, who was on the panel, he saw me, he knew me. So he said, "Oh, pick her. She's working towards this. This will be great." None of us knew what the contest was, but it was how long you could stay handcuffed to the creator. And after a few hours, everyone was like, "I think we should stop." So we all ended up being drawn into the movie. And with Jess's blessing, I was able to do the voiceover part for it. And then that led to reading for other projects with this team. That led to booking Mr. Pickles on Adult Swim. And that led to being able to read for an agency with a product already under my belt, something that was active and happening or about to happen. So I could bring that to them. So that helped a lot. And then after I was signed on to the agency, it's just auditions, paying attention to what you're not reading for as well as what you are. That way, if I'm not reading for an archetype, I'd like to learn that archetype. I want to like, well, how am I not working in that field? What can I do on my time to better improve that? That way I'm working for my agent as much as they're working for me. But I don't think a lot of agencies are taking convention winners of random contests these days. So the traditional guideline is you've taken your acting classes. Stage acting is one of the strongest methods of acting for voiceover. You make a demo when you're ready with, five-ish, six, seven archetype characters, what your sound is like for them, how you portray them, what's your point of view. Is there a range of voices you can do? It's not necessary, but it certainly is fun to embellish each type of character. Once you have that demo, you submit to all the agencies in town. You can do your research on those agencies to see if there's anybody like you already there. So if I applied to an agency and they had a girl who did everything I did, almost the same, maybe different, but evoking that same style, they may pass on me because their focus is her. But at my agency, I do everything all the high up ladies do as well, but our versions are all so different. We're still able to all be submitted. We may be competing kind of with each other as well as other agencies, but we're all unique enough. So once you find the agency who doesn't have that spot filled, you could sign with them, you start working on your auditions, and after that, you are now a working voice actor working on the craft because the job is auditioning. When you book the role, that's kind of the cherry on top.
I see. To be honest, I was gonna ask you the question about what was your first ever character, but since you told me yourself that it was in Drawn Together, thanks to Jesse Hernal, I'm beginning to realize that it's all part of making sure so that just in case if I ever do a voice showcase for you, I just need to do it in chronological order, just like how I did it for Ron Perlman and everybody else on my YouTube channel for almost
Mm-hmm.
3 years, or should I say
Congratulations.
4 years. If you check out my YouTube channel, Seba's Voiceover World, you'll see everything right there. Because trust me,
Thank
I'm
you.
actually popular there.
Very good. Thank you for letting me know that. I'll check it out.
Of course. That's what I often do, you know. Plus, a lot
Uh,
of a lot of voice actors supported me on that, so
Good.
the truth I wanted to express to you.
Yeah,
But,
everyone has to start from somewhere.
of course. But anyway, about the questions of the characters, and
Hmm.
since you told me your first ever character, I'll tell you the other questions. So, how does it feel about playing Felicia in Amphibia?
Oh, oh, I love Felicia Sundew. That was my first Disney show, and it was my first kind of like secondary character. I wouldn't say tertiary, but it was my first like really recurring role on a show besides Adult Swim with Mr. Pickles. That was a lead of the show, which we loved to pieces. But this was my first Disney show. It was the first kind of side character. So I'm very fond of her. And we had a lot of fun kind of discovering what's her attitude like. She's got that sweet southern sound. Of course, she goes by Felicia, not Felicia. So that way she stands out. But she stands out already. No one else is as hoity toity as she is. But it was a lot of fun, especially when we kind of got to delve deeper in her backstory and learn what she is like beyond the tea shop. So when we found out she knew taekwondo, and she's trying to help Ivy grow into her own person, those ones really meant a lot to me because we got to make something out of her. I wish she was in it more, but I'm so glad she was there to begin with. And you never know about the future. Frogs live, I think, like 1,000 years, so we should be good.
Interesting. So that's what you like about playing that character.
Yes, and just how genial she is and how positive she is, even when she's not.
Of course, because all I know is that Amphibia has been around since 2019, and that
Mm-hmm.
I and that the character himself, the creator himself, was very honorable to bringing you in, and not just you, but a very good friend of mine I met 2 years ago, Misty Lee, who is also part of
Mm-hmm.
the show, and you two, and along with everyone else being part of it, is super awesome, and
It is.
that's what makes the show more interesting just by showing the depth and heart to the entire story. So,
Yes, I'm very fond of Misty, so anytime we work together is a gem. And I believe we've done three things together
hmm, of
so
course,
far, so far as I know. If we've done more, I better find out.
you say that. Which, speaking of,
Hmm.
that, but how is it like about being, well, what was your favorite part about being in the game Tower of Fantasy as Claudia?
Oh, Tower of Fantasy is a lot of fun. That one, it I get to use just my natural normal voice, which sits down here. So it surprises people if I do higher voiced characters because this is how I sound normally. So Tower of Fantasy was a lot of fun. And Claudia, she's such a calm, quieter presence. So that when I first started working on her, it was a challenge not to go harder, to go more in depth, more intense that a lot of these games often have their characters do. So Claudia got to keep it in a little bit more, and it's paid off. She's going through quite a journey right now.
Interesting. So that's what you like about playing that character. Because
Mm-hmm.
all I know is that Tower of Fantasy has been one of the most popular games next to Goddess of Victory, Nike, and other, and even Genshin Impact to combined together. And from the looks of things, you being part of the game is just something else. Especially to props to Bill Black for bringing you in, and I am proud of him for making you part of the cast.
I will let him know that.
Of course, you say that. And speaking of another popular game, how is it like playing the character Chloe in Fire Emblem Engage?
I love Chloe. She that was Patrick Seitz is a phenomenal casting director as well as voice actor himself. So this game was a lot of fun to do. Because she'll eat anything, I'll eat anything. It's my natural voice again, but it sits up higher so I can be excited. I can have that youthfulness. So she's just a blast to have fun with. And the game is so extensive. There's so much going on, and there's so many beautiful characters and side stories. So I'm able to kind of re-experience those recording sessions in the final product when we have all these scenes together with other actors. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And Chloe is very special to me as well. She's one of my first video game main characters. She just looks so pretty. Green's a great color on her, and I love her attitude and that willingness to do anything because she loves fairy tales. She loves folk food. She's made of love.
Interesting. So that's what you love about playing that character. Because Patrick Seitz, on the other hand, he does such a magnificent job bringing you into the project right there. But the best part is, I've
Thank
got to
you.
meet some of the actors of the entire game,
Whoop.
including one
Mm-hmm.
of them who's actually been my biggest supporter of my YouTube channel for over 2 years since I made one of the videos for her. And that's why I'm just super happy that game has been around along with the franchise. And I'm glad Patrick was able to give you a lot of credit for being in it. So,
Thank you
yeah,
so much. I'll let him know that as well.
of course. And speaking of another project Patrick brought you in, but what's the most awesome thing when playing Resco's mother in Aggretsuko?
Oh, Retsuko's mom is so fun. I don't have children myself, but I've certainly got several friends who do have kids of various ages. So, and when you're a mom, you're never not a mom. So for her to treat her 25-year-old as if she were a 15-year-old, a lot of people can identify with that. Just like, and I've been told before, like, I hate your character. It reminds me of my mom. Well, then I'm doing my job right because she is overbearing. She is annoying. She is like too invasive or shameless almost, but she's also incredibly loving. She loves her daughter. She wants her daughter to be happy. She she kind of avoids the responsibility of like, you made this happen, mom. No, it was you, honey. I'm just trying to help you. And then she has that growth as well over the course of her series and trying to trust Retsuko. Like, all right, I'm trusting you to make these decisions. You're an adult. I'm going to hope for the best because that's all any parent can do. I wish there was one more season or one more grand special to address the big finale of the show a little more in depth. But that's just me.
Of course, because all I know is that I've known about Aggresco because of a lot of people being involved in it. And Patrick Seiss bringing you in, again, did a good job. Especially you and Erica Mendez talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what the good thing is?
What?
The good thing is that I made two special voice showcase videos I've done for two special people who passed away,
Mm-hmm.
including the deceased Billy Kometz, which all the voice actors were all proud of me for making that video. And that Billy would have been proud of me, one of them said. And and the other one, Brad Venable, who I did a
Mm-hmm.
video about days ago, which I did for the sake of showing it to his wife, to to get her support, to help him be remembered.
That's very kind of you. They were both very well loved in the community, and we miss them. We miss them deeply.
And that's the reason why I made these special videos for them, as a way to help them be remembered, just like I did it for others for 3 years, through Tony Todd, through Lance Riddick, everybody.
Thank you for that.
It's all part of my YouTube channel to just make sure everything gets supported,
Yeah, absolutely.
of course. But now that, but to get back on topic, but what's your favorite part about being the voice of Helm and Cinderella in Goddess of Victory, Nike?
Nikke.
Nikke,
Um,
I meant.
those are Helm was my first one, and she's very nautical based. So she's a lot more subdued. She's a lot more closed off because she's very by the book. She doesn't really know how to open up to others. So seeing her being able to open up to at least her crew and her commanders, that's what you want for every character in a video game role is to have that growth, to have that opportunity to shine. And she has had that. And there might be some more stuff coming. Cinderella was way out of left field. We knew she was a fairy tale Nikke. She's one of the first ones, and we wanted to evoke that kind of fairy tale ethereal otherness. A bit of a mid Atlantic feel, but without that type of pronunciation, without that type of illusion. But we had a lot of fun with her, and we kept her lower, we kept her softer, we kept her wide eyed because of how new she is to the world. And I always have to catch myself that Helm doesn't drop too low, otherwise they'll sound the same. So I got to keep Helm up here and Cinderella down here. And I had no clue she was going to be as popular as she was. So seeing that response has been wonderful to hear people are enjoying the game, they're enjoying the stories, they're enjoying all of our work. So I'm that she does have a special place in my heart, and hopefully she'll continue onward.
I see. So that's what you like about playing those two characters right there. Again, Bill Black again was able to do a good job bringing you in,
Thank
especially
you.
when it comes to you interacting with a lot of people. And and I'm very grateful to him for you deserving a lot of good stuff into the game.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's what I do, always. But now to answer this biggest question there, but what's the biggest thing when playing Minnie Mouse in many Disney projects?
What's the biggest thing?
Yeah,
The biggest thing for Minnie is we want to make sure that Minnie is everyone's friend. We want to make sure that she is there for you whenever you have need of her, that she is trustworthy and kind and sassy and sweet. So for Minnie, she has so many fun adventures on Mickey Mouse Funhouse, the new Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, theme parks, the cruise line. She goes all over and does all sorts of things. So we with Minnie, we want to make sure she brings the fun every single time. She brings the sincerity and she brings the funny because you want to laugh with your friends. So the Disney characters are your friends. So we should be able to laugh with them too.
that's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to hear from you.
Yeah. And she's very much the eye of a hurricane. So while all of our other characters are going through some wild antics or commenting on the scene at hand, Minnie's kind of that stronghold. Like you know that she'll have the right idea, she'll have a great suggestion. She sees everyone, she sees their hard work. So she's the mom friend. And I like that.
I see. You know, to be real honest,
Mm-hmm.
Minnie Mouse has been part of my childhood my entire life since I was 6 years old. I look
Good.
up to I look up to her and the entire Mickey Mouse cast over there, and I knew about her original voice actress, Russie Taylor, that she does not only her, but all the ducklings there as well. And
Mm-hmm.
by the time I noticed her passing and that you succeeding her as Minnie Mouse, it made me realize that, boy, you are so good at making yourself sound like one of my heroes there.
Thank you very much.
But I know this may sound a bit rash, but I do like to see your Minnie Mouse voice so that I can truly just understand it clearly.
You're very sweet, my dear. Please have the most wonderful day today. I love you.
But now to the questions of the other characters. What was your favorite thing about being part of Invincible Girl as many various of characters?
Invincible Fight Girl was fun.
Invincible Fucker.
Invincible Fight Girl on it's on HBO Max. That one's a lot of fun because I did my Rita Repulsa voice for Delectable and their backstory. I did not see that coming. We were just part of the wrestling team that our main character goes up against. They've got their shtick. We're a ragtag group, but then you get to see behind the curtain of like how they grew up, what their dreams were, how they believed, and then what they had to endure to become this great wrestling team. So wonderful storytelling. It's such a unique show. Like I haven't seen anything on TV like this before. So I hope it continues on because it's so well done. And the acting's phenomenal, the writing's great, the story is great. Keith, I got to record after Keith David once in the booth, and it was like I walked in after he had left, and I could feel the talent in the air because he's just remarkable himself. I love everybody. All my peers have nothing but good things for me to say about them. The whole community is made of love.
That's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to learn from you. Because all I know is that I've known about Invincible Fight Girl
Mm-hmm.
because of Toonami's Adult Swim, and that you being part of the show is just too excellent right there. Especially when your characters get to see a lot of people like Paul Castro Jr.
Mm-hmm.
through the first ever voice actor I met, Fred Tatasciore, and everybody
Freddie.
else. So, yeah, that's something I'm beginning to learn these days. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do like to tell you this. But to get things over with, what's so awesome when you got to be part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as many various characters such as Pinocchio and of the Joestar?
Pinocchio, what a creepy little character. Um, I'm hired a lot to do little boy voices or early preteen voices or just kind of that guttural, weird goblin creatures, screamers. And so Pinocchio was just this weird little nut in the fairy tale world that the characters are up against. And it was the year of Pinocchio. There were like three different Pinocchio projects. Um, he definitely came out of left field. I didn't know what to expect with him until we were in the booth recording, and you learn about the show when you're there. That way, it's kept safe. It's under wraps. That was a prize for everybody when you experience it. So he was creepy and gross and a lot of fun. And I've popped into JoJo a few times. It's always a thrill whenever I do. I think that was like my first taste of working in anime, getting the feel for it before Aggretsuko was the consistent role.
I see. Because all I know is that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has been around, and that Tony Oliver
Mm-hmm.
was able to bring you in right there, and that he did a magnificent job directing you from not just from Diamond is Unbreakable to Stone Ocean as well. Because you getting to speaking alongside to Billy Kometz through Zach Aguilar and everyone there. But then by
Yeah.
Stone Ocean, you got to see Kara Buckland, Casey Mongelo, and everybody there.
Yeah.
And it's what makes your characters, just remarkable when it comes to performance. And you did
Thank
awesome
you.
there.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Always. Because that's what I often do, just supporting
Mm-hmm.
on other people to make sure they understand clearly about what it means to be part of these projects.
It really is a community of love and support because we want to make sure everyone knows. As actors, we're told no all the time. So when you get that yes, we want to celebrate it, we want to support it. And when you get your no, you want to know it's not you. It's just kind of how the project works with what they're looking for with an entire cast all together. But there's nothing that says you it won't help you book the next one. Every rejection, every no thank you will build you up for the next one.
That's a fine, interesting thing to hear from you.
Thank you.
And of course, as a voice actor, how do you want to be remembered by?
I want to be remembered as someone who just made you laugh. All my heroes are very comedic people who you quote classic lines they would read out in anime, or you quote classic shticks or memes. We still do that to this day with things Tress MacNeille has done, things Maurice LaMarche has done, things Paulson's done, things Robin Williams done. Like, the heroes you have, the people you connect to through their work, they are part of you. They help build up the uniqueness that is you. Everyone is an amalgamation of other people because we all feed into each other. We all give each other. That's what an actor should do. You should be giving a connection to someone, and then when they connect back with you, that's how you know you've succeeded in what you set out to do. So if I'm making people laugh, if I'm making people smile when they hear my name, I've done my job, and that's how I'd like to be remembered.
That's that's very That's very good, actually. And but to be honest, what you said to me right now, it
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of that kind of experience that I've had 2 years ago, or should
Yeah.
I say 1 year ago, is that the real reason why I wanted to get into the voiceover community is because the voice actors like Billy Kometz through Kevin Conroy through others, they all
Mm-hmm.
it's they all motivated me to do what I can to be part of it and that I wanted to finish what they started. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why I'm working very hard to get into the community, not just to be in many projects,
Yeah.
so that I can connect with all the voice actors, so that I can belong to society. That's one of my biggest desires I have had for a long time, and I wanted to share this with you to make you
I know
understand.
that feeling. I've been there before. I certainly know that feeling.
Yeah, and I'm glad you understand what I am saying.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, my dear.
Of course. And Caitlin, or
Yes.
should I say Minnie Mouse, it's such an honor to finally meet you, and that meeting you, one of Minnie Mouse's favorite heroes, that's been it's been an honor.
Thank you. I'm really glad you like it.
Of course. I hope you have a
Ooh,
wonderful day, and I'll be looking forward to just working with you in the industry. Or even better, I can even come to California, and that whenever I get to California, I'd be gladly to let you know, so that that way we can meet up with each other like I will do with everyone else.
that sounds lovely, my dear. Thank you again. And keep moving forward. Don't give up.
I'm glad you say that. Thank you,
Yes.
Minnie.
You're
And
very welcome, my dear. Have a great day.
you too.
Bye bye.
Bye.